In this video, I'm going to see if dry ice really will take out a small dent in a car. Now, for years, I've always heard that you can remove small dents with dry ice, so I'm going to put it to the test today. I've got some dry ice, and I've also got another product I'm going to try. So let's get going, and I'll explain what I'm going to be doing. I've got a fender here and I've got multiple dents in it. Most of them are small, hail size, maybe a little bit bigger. I'm going to try the dry ice method on here. I went to the local ice company yesterday, picked up a 10-pound bag of dry ice, and it's supposed to be somewhere around 100 degrees below zero. So I'm going to use one of these little cheap digital thermometers here. And right here this is saying -14, but I'm not sure if this is real accurate. But what I'm going to be doing to have a little bit of control and consistency, I'm going to heat the areas up with the heat gun to roughly 150 degrees, and then I'll put some dry ice on it for about 10 seconds and see what it actually does. All right, the first dent I'm going to start out with is this one right here. Maybe a little tough to pick it up on the camera. I think you can see it. I'm going to measure this with a feeler gauge and a straight edge, see what the depth of it is, and then once it's heated up, cooled with the dry ice, I'll measure it again, see if there's any difference. So that little dent is only 7/1000ths of an inch. And that's probably a little bit bigger than an average hail dent. So I'm going to take the heat gun, bring it up to about 150, and then put the dry ice to it, and then we'll see what happens. All right, after letting that cool, I can still feel the heat in the surrounding area, and this doesn't really feel cold. It's like the dry ice doesn't really transfer into the metal. Let me just see what we got here. And we're still at 7,000, so there's no change whatsoever. I'm going to try it again, put a little bit more heat in it. Okay, it's over 200 degrees. Now we'll try it again. Don't even feel any cold in here. Whole panel still feels warm. There's no change whatsoever. I'm going to try a deeper dent here. This is actually a bigger area, and it's really hard getting an accurate measurement because there really is no perfectly flat area on a body panel. You're going to have a crown going one way or the other. And even though that seems fairly deep, this one's about 10,000ths, but it's still very noticeable. And again, I don't feel anything cold in here. It's just fairly warm all the way around the edges, but there's absolutely no cold right in that center. So apparently this ice really doesn't transfer to cold into the metal, which is surprising because metal is one of the easiest conductors of cold and hot. I'm going to see exactly how hot I can get that with the heat gun. I don't see any difference, and I'm kind of thinking that kind of heat may damage the paint or at least the adhesion of it. So let's see what we got here. And 10 thousandths is a little tight right now. It might have moved it 1/1000th of an inch, not enough you're really going to see. I've got to put a little pressure on it to get it in there. So I'm going to say the dry ice method is a fail. So I've got another product. We're going to give that a try. Okay, next I'm going to try this freeze spray. This is actually medical grade freezing agent. It says cools to -65 Fahrenheit in seconds. And doctors use this to remove warts. I guess you spray it on there and it'll freeze it and it'll come off. Precautions on here, it says do not use on anything that's over 122 degrees. And it says don't breathe this stuff. Have plenty of ventilation. So I'll put on my paint respirator while I'm doing this. Yep, that's still at 7,000. I'm going to take the heat gun, warm it up to about maybe 120, and then we'll hit it with the cold shot. Absolutely no difference that I could see or measure. Now, it does feel cold. That stuff does actually make the metal cold, unlike the dry ice. It didn't really do anything, but it didn't do anything for the dent. So let's see how cold this will get the metal. So that's pretty cold, -54. I'm going to take it one more time. Here's a dent here. I'm going to warm this up and I'll try it on here too. It's not so tight of a dent. It's spread out a little bit more. I'll see if that does anything. And when I sprayed it there, the tip actually come out of the gun. I put it back in and finished it. There's absolutely no difference in there. It is nice and cold though. Well, I'm going to say the dry ice and this freeze spray was a complete fail. You know, and I thought it might have even moved a little bit, maybe took half the dent out. So yeah, I think it's a complete fail. So now you don't have to try this at home. Thanks for watching.